thanks again for joining this ENR Task Force on Local Climate Action meeting. And today we are joined by RVO and CNED, which are our colleagues from the Netherlands and Moldova, and they will be presenting the projects that they have ongoing and initiatives to support local authorities in their climate action planning. So I think that we could start with RVO. Go right ahead. Thank you, Marion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I will say something more about the energy transition, because that's my expertise. And I try to say something also about climate policy in the Netherlands, but I can imagine that you have more questions about that. So then we have to check it out later on. Well, the Netherlands, it's a small country, of course. I think for now it's the most gas-dependent country in Europe. It's got 242 municipalities, almost 8 million existing homes, and 90% of it is gas boiler. We got for years we got natural gas production and very cheap gas, but because of earthquakes, we decided to end the national production of natural gas, and of course of the energy crisis, the fluctuation of the price of natural gas was very high. And that makes us to think over of a new energy strategy, a more resilient one. Of course, there are a lot of renewable sources also in place. The most of it are offshore wind on the North Sea. And it's difficult for us because of the electrification to get it to roll out because of a weak electricity grid, and we got only 6% district heating. So our key challenge at this moment for the energy transition is grid concession. This is the capacity map from the Dutch grid operators, and red is the shortage of transport capacity. Almost the whole Netherlands are waiting in line for new connections, especially large-scale electricity consumers. For now, the small-scale electricity consumers are not yet affected, but with the tempo of rollout of heat pumps, electric cars, and all kinds of other electric devices, it's getting more in danger. So we have to take smart incentives for this. There are 3 possible solutions: faster expansion of the electricity grid, more insight in the actual grid load, more efficient use of the existing grid. And of course, the smart electric devices can better balanced. So we also try to get them smart. So I will tell on this later on. We also rolled out a national plan for energy scenarios for 2050. And you can think of, 2021, you see the green zone is gas-fired boiler. And we think of 4 scenarios, a lot of all electric, heat pumps can be one, or hybrid heat pumps, so as well gas infrastructure as electric heat pump together, or district heating can also be a scenario. And we don't know yet which one will be in place. But we tried out on the policy to get it 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like this. So this is what we get on for now. We think every concept is needed in our energy system for the future. You see also there is a energy saving insulation. That's the green zone. So the national ministries of Interior and Kingdom Relations, or the Ministry of Housing and the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy, they work together. In this program for the building environment, you see the different program lines. The orange one, that's the responsibility of the Ministry of Climate, and the green ones is the responsibility of the Ministry of Housing. And actually, they work together, and they also work together in a learning program with the municipalities. I will tell on later on. Oh yeah, and what's also important, that cooling is mentioned, space cooling. So we figured out with the new climate figures that the weather forecast for the Netherlands will also ask for a growing cooling demand. And that also results in new thinking of new energy concepts. So these are our policy instruments. Not all of them, but some. Of course, the very important one is the climate law, and I will tell on later. And the national program Local Heat Transition, I also tell about later. Since 2018, new buildings are mandatory gas-free. We also planned phase out natural gas boilers, but that didn't. That was not worked out in the new government, which is now not government anymore. Maybe you heard of it. Last week it was cancelled. The government. New Heat Act, also very important. Municipal Instruments of Heat Transition Acts. So the National Insulation Program, action plan of hybrid or all-electric heat pumps, and a program for biomethane. And of course, our subsidy and tax schemes, high marginal energy taxes combined with a tax refund, a huge subsidy scheme for energy sources, the bigger ones and also the small ones, and the support for housing corporations, the tax reduction for investments, and subsidy scheme for district heating infrastructure. I have to close the window because there is some noise here. Yes. I think the main one for the building environment is this one. The subsidy provides financial support to house owners and businesses that make investments for heat pumps and insulation. It's a lump sum subsidy for investments, which covers about 30% of product cost for heat pumps, including the installation cost. And there was a budget in 2023 of 230 million euros. In addition to this subsidy, there's also a heating fund. The heating fund provides loans which are free of interest for low to middle income households. The Dutch National Bank reported that with these two measures, 95% of the homeowners can afford the investment costs needed to make their home more energy efficient. I try to, it's maybe a little bit too much, but there are a lot of institutes and organizations in the Netherlands involved in this local climate action. The RVO, the NL agency in the middle, it has different roles in this. It's a national international knowledge transfer, of course, funding research, pilots, demos, and upscaling subsidy schemes, but also advisor for the government in solving bottlenecks and boundary conditions in cooperation with the ministries, and monitoring climate policy dashboard, mapping data governments. There is on one side more the international level with the different organization, of course the national level with the ministries, but also the main research institutes. And on the other side, the pilots and the upscaling of the municipalities. And in the middle are the intermediaries, the ones who support on one side the municipalities with their projects, and on the other side also the advice to the ministries on policy or the lessons learned from the pilots. One example of a lessons learned or a learning program is the 64 natural gas-free pilots, learning by doing. So in the middle, you see all the energy concepts from this 64 pilots. It was the first, and we have lessons learned from them. And it's on different teams, on organization and the role of the municipality, the technology, the finance, legal issues, and the participation and communication. And it results in a national program, Local Heat Transition. It's an interdepartmental learning program with the different ministries, with RVO, the municipalities, but also a new program, Local Heat Transition, and PLW, the housing sector, very important, the corporations, industrial sector, the ones who sell and the products, and the building sector, and the knowledge institutes. And now, because of the grid concession, is one of the main key challenges for energy transitions. The grid operators are very important. Something more about the municipality approach. Well, at the end of 2026, each municipality in the Netherlands must deliver a heat program. This is mandated by law. In this program, the municipality delivers a district-based approach for the heat transition, as well as sustainable heating and insulation. And lately, we try to get in also sustainable heating and cooling. But it's not yet in the model. For example, if district heating is more suitable, mostly in densely populated areas such as cities, it might be preferred over individual hybrid heat pumps. But of course, the local data has to be, and the costs of the systems has to be in place as well. Well, to help this decision-making process, the Environmental Assessment Agency, PBL, has developed an open access model to compare the cost of different heating strategies at the local level. It's called the starting analysis, and it's a good start, but it has to be strengthened by the local data. The previous version was used by almost 2/3 of the municipalities, and this year a new version was brought in. This is an example of a snapshot of this model for all the municipalities and districts in the Netherlands. In this map, hybrid heat pumps dominate, mainly because they are very favored in the rural areas. But if you look at this picture and you see the uncertainty of this model, you can see that the four main concepts, like individual heat pumps, mid to high temperature district heating, the combination of individual heat pumps and low temperature district heating, or the hybrid heat pumps, they all have a kind of same, well, especially of this one, but the three of them has a same kind of chance. And this one, I have to say, is the combination with the low temperature district heating, and the lack of this model is that the cooling demand is not yet taken into this model, and that's why this low temperature district heating is still, I have to say, still the lowest in this feature. So for the new one, we expect that this one will be higher in coming years. Well, this is then the concepts with the different variants of the sources. And also another very important action plan is the heat pump action plan. We are not only support communication, but we also try to bring in more quality for more professionals, installers. We also, as an agency, developed a knowledge data platform. So we invite all kinds of industrial partners and knowledge partners to bring in the data and to discuss together in a community the quality of the data, to see what the real performance is of the heat pumps. Let's see, next one. So if you look at the heat pump sales, 1 in 12 dwellings in the Netherlands has a heat pump at this moment. We see in the new numbers of 2025, but not yet in this feature, that we see a growth again. That is because the district heating systems are really difficult at this moment. So if people really had the money to do something, they can make an individual decision to buy this heat pump. But the new thing in the Netherlands, we see also a growth in air conditioners. and not only air conditioners for cooling, but also for heating in the summer. Another important input program is the Integral Knowledge and Innovation Agenda. I'm working on this as well. It is a mission-driven R&D tender for pilots, but also to invite public-private knowledge consortia to work together with municipalities or housing corporations or other corporations to do pilots for new installations. You see two examples of projects: a pilot of 100 heat pumps to reduce grid congestion. They are all on the same electricity transmitter in the neighborhood. And what's important, they aim for an open standard communication protocol for the heat pump, brand and type independent, and to work together with the COPEX algorithm for also for houses, not only for businesses. And another one I'm involved in is the chain approach for installers. It's a consortium of 9 installation companies. They represent 2 million clients, and they aim to 500 hybrid heat pump installations a day. So they try to fasten and to make more quality on the installation process. And they work together with manufacturers on a data store to share the data for predictive maintenance control and interface for house owners. They also do pilots on new installation concepts, especially for the more difficult dwellings like the multifamily houses. And they also work on circularity. The climate policy dashboard is also for municipalities. In the Netherlands, a lot of institutions, national institutions work together to gather all the data, and the municipality can see for themselves how far they get in the climate policy goals. There is a regional climate monitor, so they can see it in a national level, but also in a regional level. And on national level, they report also to the European Commission because of the climate law. That's the first day of October. They have to report on the progress of climate policy. That's what I want to say for now.
Thank you, Marion. Great summary and very interesting work. Especially, I'm particularly interested currently in this idea behind the climate dashboards, because we're trying to develop something similar for us. So maybe I'll start with the first question. For this, you are gathering national statistics, right?
Yeah.
So this do the municipalities have any input into this dashboard? Can they put in their let's say their initiatives or their measures to track also impact of their current plans and ongoing plans?
Yes, that's how it works. Yes, but not only the municipalities, also the agencies working for the municipalities, and also the local, the regional institutions. There is a data governance model. So the gathering is taken by the agency and they get all the information together into this model.
And does it also include some kind of forecasting tool for them to look at the different scenarios or the different levels of ambition that they can introduce to see what the effect would be on the emissions, or
It's
is
more
that
an backcasting model. The CAF, what's it called? Let's see. The forecasting is more the national plan for energy, what I told you, 2050, and then the policy is on that. And there are also plans for mobility and industry and all kind of that. But I focused on building environment. And the climate dashboard is more backcasting. So and the PBL, they also do something. They try, everyone has to write down the incentives and they try to figure it out if it's enough. Oh yeah, that's true. There is also a forecasting. Everyone has to write down the incentives, and the PBL Institute, they try to figure it out with these incentives if it's enough to aim for
reach?
the goal 2030 or 2050.
That's
Yeah,
that's interesting, because many times, I mean, we have almost the same number of municipalities in Portugal, and what we see is that medium and small municipalities hardly ever have the staff that can work on this full time, let's say, because they have a number of other issues to deal with, and climate policy is not, let's say, a priority when you have to fix the roads or the water distribution systems or something like this. So it becomes many times an issue for them to actually develop their own modeling internally. So by providing this, I think that this is one of the main issues that we can work together on, these data models, because I mean, most of them will work on the same principles, let's say. And so it's interesting to see what is being done in the different countries, and maybe come together for even for solutions, for instance, to communicate this to the European Commission, because I believe that the European Commission might be interested in having a better overview of what's going on. And the municipalities are not able, because of this lack of staff, they are not able to provide constant reporting on the Covenant of Mayors or even Net Zero Cities. So if we can provide this for them, I think that for the cities it's useful, and for the European Commission it's also very useful.
yeah, but in the Netherlands we have this climate law. I don't
Mhm.
know, do you have it also in Portugal?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so it's mandatory to report every year the process. So that's why we have this all in place, this
Yeah. In
data governance.
Portugal, yeah,
Yeah,
the in Portugal, the climate law exists. It's mandatory to have plans, but the reporting didn't make it into the mandatory
okay.
into force, let's say. I think it was expected that this would be, let's say, a deepening of a climate law in a different diploma, so just for monitoring, but it wasn't published yet. So maybe when it's published, we can look at these data governance models that already exist in other countries for ideas or on how to implement this also for us. Because I think that it was expected that this would be published after the climate law went into force. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So thank you for this. I think that we can then move on to Moldova, to our colleague Ecaterina from CNED.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ecaterina Stetenco. I represent Republic of Moldova, the National Center for Sustainable Energy. It's a pleasure to me to be here today and to talk about local climate action in Moldova. Here is the plan for today's presentation. First, I will tell you about the CNED, CNED. Then I will talk about the national framework for local energy policies and national coordination. And finally, I'll conclude with the summary of the topic and the main challenges faced. So first of all, who are we? The National Center for Sustainable Energy is a public institution under the Ministry of Energy, responsible for coordinating and organizing activities to ensure the implementation of state policy in its areas of competence. So the areas of activities are as follows: energy efficiency, renewable energy sources, financial assistance for the project and programs implementation. The National Center for Sustainable Energy has the mission to provide efficient energy solutions for sustainable future. But our vision is to lead the energy transition in the Republic of Moldova. Here you can see our organization chart. So, sorry. I just want to add some information. So the National Center for Sustainable Energy was established in 2024 through the reorganization of the Energy Efficiency Agency. So about mission and vision, I've already mentioned. So here you can see our organization chart. We have two main departments, each led by its own deputy director. So on the left, you can see the structure of the project department, and on the right, you can see the policy department. And one of the sections of the policy department is the analysis and reporting section. This section, so I am ahead of this section, and I represent it. So a key focus of the analysis and reporting section is coordinating the implementation of local integrated climate and energy plans. Now I want to represent you the Moldova's territorial and administrative division. Moldova is divided into 3 development regions: North, Center, and South. We have 2 municipalities, Chisinau, the capital, and Belts. These are urban areas with special status. As well, we have 32 districts. These districts are main administrative units responsible for local governance. Moldova also has 1 autonomous territorial unit named Gagauzia. This unit has a special legal status and its own local governance structures, representing the Gagauz ethnic minority. Also, we have a region in the east of Moldova called Transnistria that declared independence in 1990. This region is not recognized internationally and remains a de facto separate territory. The climate policy architecture in Republic of Moldova is as follows. Moldova has developed several key strategic documents, such as National Development Strategy, European Moldova 2030, Low Emissions Development Strategy 2030, and the National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan 2025-2030. National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan establishes goals, projects, and minimum requirements for local plans. This plan was adopted by the government decision in March 2025. National Center for Sustainable Energy is the main body responsible for the implementation of this plan. Thus, the CNED's current focus is to implement the National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan. So it's our area of competence, one of the main areas of competence. Moldova also is a party to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Paris Agreement, and EU Association Agreement. As well, the institutional setup are Ministry of Energy and Ministry of Environment, interministerial coordination, and local public authorities. Local Climate Action Plan is presented by the followed by the next diagram chart. So the Local Integrated Energy and Climate Plan aligned with the National Energy Framework and Moldova's EU integration commitments. The National Development Strategy and Environment Strategy incorporate climate aspects into national and local development frameworks. The next program is the National Energy Efficiency Program that is aligned with Law on Energy Efficiency and Law on the Energy Performance of Buildings. And the last one, Sustainable Energy and Climate Action Plans, are developed by select municipalities under the EU Covenant of Mayors initiative. About local climate action support. So there are initiative projects, programs at national level providing support for local and regional authorities. As well as in Moldova, we have central public administration, regional development, European initiatives, and projects. Also, as a support, we have trainings, monitoring, tailored assistance, pilots, study visits. And now I want to talk about the local integrated energy and climate plans. Local climate and energy plans are developed in response to national regulations. So according to the energy efficiency law, local climate action planning is mandatory. Local public administration authorities must develop local integrated energy and climate plans to support national energy efficiency goals and promote local energy efficiency. In addition, local integrated energy and climate plans must be updated every 2 years by local public authorities, as well as they must be submitted for consultation with the National Center for Sustainable Energy, with our institution. About CNED's support. CNED is responsible for guiding and supporting local public authorities in the development of local integrated energy and climate plans. CNED supports local authorities through awareness campaigns, technical assistance, guidance, with the National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan and national policies. The development of the local Integrated Energy and Climate Plan template is currently being developed and will serve as a model for local public authorities in preparing their own plans, ensuring alignment with the National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan 2025-2030. It's important to highlight that CNED is responsible for the implementing state policy, and one of its core mandates is to coordinate the development and the implementation of the local integrated energy and climate plans. At this point, CNED offers informational and consultative support, but is not officially designed as the coordinator of all relative initiatives. But I will talk about this shortly. Nevertheless, CNED remains one of the few entities that serves as a bridge between central administration and local authorities. Let's talk about the connection with transnational initiatives. CNED, we have only one example at this point. CNED supports local public authorities in developing and implementing CCAPs under the Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy by providing consultations and participating in events organized by the initiative. But it happens occasionally. And such initiatives like EU Mission 100 Cities, Net Zero Cities, EU Mission Adaptation, European Green Capital, European Innovation Award, CNED has no contact with the initiative. In the context that Moldova only having EU candidate status, the CNED has not had any interaction with these initiatives so far, but I suppose that such engagement may be possible shortly. What are the main challenges and constraints that local public authorities, that CNED as a public institution face? So, first of all, the insufficient qualified staff. Unfortunately, in Moldova, there are not enough people from districts with the necessary skills, knowledge, or training to perform specific tasks or fulfill certain roles effectively. The next challenge is insufficient financial resources. We are depending, we have this dependence on the external financing from donors. As well, as one of the challenges is the lack of unified guidelines for local public authorities, as well as challenges in accessing coherent and up-to-date data. For example, local and regional authorities often face significant obstacles in collecting, verifying, and utilizing data that is both current and consistent across sectors. Key challenges here include the lack of centralized databases, limited data sharing between institutions, inconsistent data formats or methodologies, and delayed updates from national sources. As I mentioned earlier, CNED is not officially designed as a national coordinator between all the relative initiatives that are that we can so in Moldova, yeah, and that's why we have difficulties in establishing effective multi-level dialogue. next steps, what we can do as a public institution. So we can ensure coordination among various initiatives and projects. Second, we can align national data with the European requirements to facilitate reporting processes and to support funding that understands the specifics of the national and local action planning framework. In order to ensure effective coordination between climate and energy plans and strategies through the creation of, so we can do this through the creation of national working groups, consultative councils, or other coordination platforms that bring together stakeholders to foster synergies, avoid duplication of efforts, and ensure alignment of actions across sectors and government levels. To conclude my presentation, in order to answer to the question how to deal with the challenge to support local public authorities, we can promote continuous dialogue among all levels of governance, local, regional, and national, to promote, develop, and implement national tools that enable municipalities and local public authorities to access relevant energy and climate data. Organize and conduct training sessions, build institutional capacity, and benefit from shared expertise and financial mechanisms. Thank you.
Thank you, Ecaterina. This was a great insight, especially from an agency that we didn't know so well yet. So this was great to get to know CNED a little bit better. I have a few questions in areas that first of all, let me tell you that regarding your main issues and challenges that you have as an energy agency dealing with this, I think they are very common. I could put all of these slides into my own presentation and they would be, so I think that we face the similar issues. And I see also that you have not only, so you have the SECAPs from Covenant of Mayors coexisting with these local integrated energy and climate plans. How do they connect? I mean, can municipalities or can local public authorities create one sole instrument, one sole plan to respond to these two needs?
Yeah, let me explain. So thank you for your question. First of all, yes, you're absolutely right, Sophie, because that conclusion about the same challenges we face in Moldova and in Portugal, that was my conclusion from the last meeting, last session. Yes, and as a response to your question, the CCAPs, according to the national framework, the law on the energy efficiency, CCAPs would be a part of the local integrated energy and climate plans. Yes, but they should be they should be aligned to the template for the local integrated energy and climate plan. So it's about the structure. They could be as a part of the local plan, but they should be aligned to the structure of this plan.
Do you think that is possible in terms of the SECAPs are a little bit flexible in a way, but they have to have the mitigation, adaptation, energy poverty pillars, let's say. Does this fit into the structure that you created for the local integrated energy and climate plans?
Now we are now the template for the local integrated energy and climate plan is being developed.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have any structure yet, but
Oh,
this
so
initiative,
you can.
so this activity is supported by the external donors.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the main activity of CNED to elaborate this, to develop this template. We are at the very beginning.
Oh, nice. So you are actually in the stage where you can make them align so that the cities that already have a SecUp don't have to do double the work. Maybe they can revise the plans, but they don't need to do two, right? If you can still define that in the structure.
No, in case of Moldova, so the main document is the local integrated energy and climate plan. This is the priority.
Yes, I understand, but you're developing the structure still, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, is it possible to make them align so that they don't have to make two plans if they want to also collaborate at an international level?
Yes, it is possible to
Yeah,
align. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because that's what we did in Portugal. When the climate law was published, there were guidelines for the municipalities to work and to develop plans. And it wasn't mandatory, but it was recommended that they follow the framework of the Covenant of Mayors. This means that the structure can be the same. And so it is easier for the cities to actually participate in the Covenant of Mayors because they are also fulfilling their climate law requirements. So this was something that was quite interesting to do because in this way, all of the cities that already had their SecUps in place, they only had to revise them, but they had the basis to create their, well, what you call local integrated energy and climate plans. So they only had to revise their SecUp and republish or reapprove in their deliberative organ, which is in Portugal is city parliament. And so they only had to reapprove it in the city parliament with new ambition, of course, with the renovation of its initiatives. But it was, in fact, it could be the same document, or else the cities would have to have one other plan. And they already complain a lot about this administrative burden. If they have to create another plan, they will not be able to comply with everything. And they would have to drop the Covenant of Mayors, for example. But this provides them international collaboration, and this is interesting for them as well. I had another issue which is, as you are defining the structure of the local integrated energy and climate plans, but you say that there is still no coherent or compiled data for cities. Is that something that you are working on at a national level? Are you the national organ the national organization that develops statistics on energy, for example?
No, we are not. CNED is not the public body that provides statistical data. We have National Bureau of Statistics. They provide this set of data. So at this point, I would add about the development of the national energy efficiency information system that is in the development stage. It's one of the area of competence of CNED, and by the development and implementation of national information system in the field of energy efficiency, we will solve such problems as non-unified data, digitalization of the services we provide. Yeah, so yeah, we are working on this.
Yeah, that I think that like we feel this will be probably critical for the municipalities and for the cities to work with, because you feel the same, that they are small and they don't have a lot of staff. So providing this support with data will be quite important for you, I believe. So I think that we could, this is an area that we could work on, is how these systems are built and how we are working at our different countries to create or improve these systems for the cities. If there are no other questions, we can finish the session. The next session will be next week on the 18th, and we will have presentations from Germany, from DENA, and from Climagence, our colleagues from Luxembourg. They will be presenting the work that they are doing in their countries regarding the support they provide, and that is provided at the national level for local authorities. So thank you again for coming.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank
a lot.
you.
Bye, thanks.